Hey guys, my name is Nick and welcome to Watch This Now. We're all trying to prioritize our watch lists as best as possible, and I always think it's my goal to try and give the best streaming recommendations to you guys. So here's a list of the best new movies coming to Amazon Prime in the month of April. And we get things started off quite well with all of the James Bond movies. At least up until the Daniel Craig ones. But that's still a lot of James Bond, and I love these classic action films, with the latest installment, No Time to Die, being delayed until whenever movies come out in theaters again. This will be a great opportunity for us to catch up on these classic movies. The Chumscrubber is an independent, dark satire from the mid-2000s about a Southern Californian suburb that is rocked when one of their privileged teens goes missing. But turns out it's just a bunch of other privileged teens who fake kidnapped this kid and are holding him hostage in like one of the backyards. This is an interesting little film that pokes fun at elitism and explores what can happen to the way too privileged youth when they have everything at their disposal. I remember really enjoying this one when I was a teen, so I'm definitely looking forward to giving this one another shot. Gator is a movie from the 70s that was directed by Burt Reynolds. That's all I need to know. I need to see this movie. The Bodyguard is a drama from the early 90s starring Whitney Houston as a famous singer who falls in love with her bodyguard, played by Kevin Costner. This movie features I Will Always Love You in the best possible way, and it's worth watching for that alone. I Am Legend is a sci-fi thriller starring Will Smith based on the classic novel by Richard Matheson, and in this movie adaptation, New York City and the rest of the world has been taken over by vampire things? I don't know, it's a post-apocalyptic film, but Will Smith is essentially the last man on Earth with his trusty German Shepherd, and they are trying to survive, and guess what happens? Yeah, it's not fun or pretty, it's quite depressing and sad, but this was a major box office hit, one of Will Smith's biggest. So if you're looking to rewatch this one, now is definitely the time. Dr. T and the Women is a dramedy from director Robert Altman that stars Richard Gere as a wealthy gynecologist in Texas and how all of the women around him affect his life. If you're looking for something a little more lighthearted, this one should do it for you. Hotel Artemis is a futuristic action thriller where Jodie Foster runs a private hospital within a hotel for criminals only. The highest paying criminals get special treatment because, they can't really go to regular hospitals when they get shot trying to pull off a bank robbery. This is an interesting concept, kind of watered down by not so great execution, but if you're looking for something fun to watch late night, this movie does happen to feature one kick-ass Sofia Boutella fight scene. Gods and Monsters is a drama from the late 90s that won the Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay, and this one stars Sir Ian McKellen as James Whale, the director who made Frankenstein and The Invisible Man. He was a gay man who, of course, went through a whole bunch of shit. I cannot wait to see this movie. It has been on my watch list forever, so I'm definitely looking forward to checking this one out. Gorky Park is a procedural thriller set in Moscow where William Hurt plays an investigator looking into a triple homicide that uncovers a major political conspiracy. I'm all about 80s William Hurt, so I'm definitely watching this one. The Sender is considered to be a lost horror film, and I can't wait to see this one because it is about a man with psychic abilities who cannot control projecting the images of his own mind into the minds of others, and the horrific consequences that ensue. That sounds crazy, so I'm looking forward to seeing this one. Jumping to April 10th, we have the release of Amazon original Les Miserables, and this is not another adaptation of the classic musical. This is said to be a new take on similar themes about our social structure, but this was France's submission for Best Foreign Language Film at the Academy Awards this last year, and they chose this over Portrait of a Lady on Fire, so it's gotta be good, and this is going to be on Amazon forever. It's an Amazon original, so you can at least know that this one is going to stick around for a while. But also on the 10th, we have Rambo Last Blood, the latest Rambo movie that came out last year. I really did not like this movie. I thought it was terrible. Personally, for me, I was not into it. I thought it was so basic and lame, and by the time we got to the big major action sequence at the end, I was just bored. Moving to April 14th, we get Vault, a heist film from last year about a group of thieves trying to take on the mob and steal a whole bunch of money from them. I've not seen this one, but it does sound interesting. On April 16th, we get The Lighthouse, one of my favorite movies from last year. And this is one thing I love about Amazon Prime. They are so good about getting those awesome A24 films. In this movie, loosely based on the Flannan Isle mystery as well as plenty of Greek mythology, Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe star as two lighthouse keepers who go mad during an extended stay on an isolated island. If you did not check out my recent video on isolation horror on Amazon Prime, well, one, you just should, but also add The Lighthouse to that list, because The Lighthouse is a perfect trapped horror film. I can't even just classify it as a horror film. The Lighthouse is one of those movies that just has to be seen to be believed, because it is a lot of things. It is a comedy, it's a drama, it's a horror film, it is a fever dream. Make of it what you will, The Lighthouse is one of the most singular cinematic experiences of the last decade. And for that reason, I have to say that it is the most exciting release coming to Amazon Prime this month, and I can't wait to watch this and Midsummer back to back over and over again. And lastly, on April 20th, happy 420 y'all, we get Paranormal Activity 3. Most fans of the Paranormal Activity franchise say the third is their favorite, even though I don't love it as much. I still think it is okay. In this creepy found footage horror film, two young sisters must get those around them to believe that they are being haunted by an evil demon out for their souls. If you haven't watched any of the Paranormal Activity movies, you could actually start with the third one and still enjoy the rest of the franchise. But as I said, this isn't my personal favorite. My personal favorite is the second one. But I am so happy to have all the horror films available to us. That is it for my list, you guys. What are your favorites? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share this video with your friends, subscribe to watch this now if you haven't already, because that's it for this video, but I won't stop you from watching another.